inside. The old gods granted me a vision of the way to change reality. In the shadows creeping, can't rest your weary head. No time for you to sleep now, or evil it will spread. So gather all your friends and listen to my tale. Adventure story shaping the magic and the veil. Dragons, devils, demons, and creatures that are fair, and heroes of the north. Just please don't be scared. The heroes are the monsters to the enemy. It all depends upon the way that you proceed. Original GM, we're here to set you free. Come join in the adventure. Who you wanna be? Who you wanna be? We are There's a gift inside. The old gods granted me a vision of the way to change reality. In the shadows creeping, can't rest your weary head. No time for you to sleep now, or evil it will spread. So gather all your friends and listen to my tale. Adventure story shaping the magic and the veil. Dragons, devils, demons, and creatures that are fair, and heroes of the north. Just please don't be scared. The heroes are the monsters to the enemy. It all depends upon the way that you proceed. Original GM, we're here to set you free. Come join in the adventure. Who you wanna be? Who you wanna be? We are
Welcome back. I am Hupahu Opea Manish and Kamani Tutanka, Wolf that Walks with Wings, and you're back with Original GM. I'm once again joined with Wachi Chikala. Last we left from our adventures, we were having a wedding. And if you look on the monitor, you will see what it's getting ready to be turned into, according to Aries. We're going to start the game with we should have a wedding right there where we left off. In heaven, as it were. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with all of you in the same room, which is, oh wow. Let's see. Does that ever happen? Ever? One time?
When we were kids.
Maybe? Okay, so here we go. We're all together. Eras, I know you've got some things. You mentioned having Gordon go and do something.
He did.
Bag holdings.
Yes, I was going to send him with a list and her bag of holding.
Okay. All right.
Got the list.
All right, you bring it to him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She pull it out. She'll hand it to him.
Before I open this list.
In the bag of holding.
Okay, and the bag of holding?
She'll tell him,
He's like, what do you want me to get? Is it on the list?
it is.
What's
It's
in your
on-
bag of holding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all on the list. So she'll give him her bag of holding.
Okay. He'll kind of look over at Vay and he's like, I might need some money. And
That was his idea.
he's like, yeah, that's fine. And Vay says, everyone, I have another announcement to make. I know I've been talking a lot today publicly. When you burn sweat and move crates and do things, it kind of gives you some testosterone and makes you want to talk a lot, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, the whole motherfucking helm is full of jewels and gems and jewelry of high quality and gold. It's full. So anybody that needs anything, you just need to know how to get into it, which also brings to mind Eras.
Yeah.
Some kind of puzzle box lock that this thing, I put the lid on it, but I can't lock it. Can you come show us all how it works, or let us all know how this puzzle box lid thing works?
Come on.
Gordon goes, and while we're doing that, guys, I gotta mention that I'm just uncomfortable with Lily not coming with us. I think we need to make a vote. I think we need our mage. You want to take our mage away? I in this situation and this kind of thing, she's indispensable. That's my belief. You guys may disagree, and I try to lead sometimes, and I guess my only lead here is let's make it democratic. There are 4 people that could stay behind, and he's talking as you're all kind of filing out. Volk and Nin are just standing over, or sitting over where they were when you guys get up and you guys go in out of the room. They don't follow you. And Gordon says, Zira, Myra, Lily, and Mal. Really the only ones that would be okay to stay behind. And they're for several reasons. Meaning that all the others of us have to go. For what reason, whatever reason, you know. And I just think it's, if you want to choose between everybody and choose 2 people, everybody choose 2 people just randomly, we could do that, but value wouldn't be included. You understand what I mean? I think these 4 are what's in question, and I really don't think Lily's one that's in question. He just turns and looks over at you and says, I'm sorry, but
I was surprised you let me get away with it when I first said it.
I don't think it's a good idea. The reason I add Mal to the list, and he turns and looks at Mal, is he's like, because he's an illusionist. He can pilot this vessel, can't you? So, yes, perhaps. But I would have a purpose in who would be with me here. I would rather someone else pilot and me be a backup. Perhaps a navigator. He smiles at Zira, and then Gordon says, and then Zira, for obvious reasons, for her at the vessel, and the undead connection that she strongly has with the hand. I don't know.
It'll be felt. For sure.
The fact that you can get this vessel going quickly is another good thing. And then the fact that the Temple of Nera will listen to what's going on. directly from you, which reminds me, you should have a ring. He looks at Eris.
Eris will take yours off and give it to Vera.
Okay.
Take it and put it on.
And then Gordon says, and that's if Zira even stays. We have to vote. Everybody vote for 2 people, if that's fair.
She'll kind of hurry back to there.
You guys come into the storage area, and Gordon starts pulling out ink and quill and paper for everybody to write their thing on.
Eris will walk
And
around.
he'll read the note. Go ahead.
Eris will walk around and show them how to close the puzzle box.
Start showing everybody.
She'll be like, so you step on this one here, and when you step on this one, you watch that plank over there, and she'll step on it. She'll be like, that one will move, and then that one will go in place, and you can step on that one. And you have to do it in this order, and she'll show you. She'll show everybody how to do it.
Okay. Make an intelligence check to open it or close it, to
Me?
figure out. No, whoever's going to try to
Okay.
figure out how to get in there. And it's full of gold, by the way. You haven't seen that yet. So she locks it, then you unlock it and open it. Show. When you look down into it, the whole bottom of the ship is full of what you see as wealth.
Lily, I'll try.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you know how to unlock it. Okay. Gordon writes a couple names and puts it in a bag and waits for everybody to do that. Now everybody make your intelligence checks. You are aware of how this hold works, locks and unlocks. It's just different boards that slide in different directions that don't seem to be attached to each other. They're separate and they unlock it or lock it.
Okay.
On the underneath side of it is a metal piece that actually goes on the lid that seals the basement metal container that she created.
Ray did not make it.
So she doesn't understand. Does she say anything or?
No.
Okay, so she doesn't know how to get in. Just remember that.
Billy, you got it.
She did.
Okay.
She'll ask Bailey about it later.
Gordon says, before I take off, I guess. Well, I'll take off. Here's what here's mine, he says. And he holds it out.
Who's gonna tell
They
it?
will take it. He'll start collecting. You have it written down?
You don't want mine anonymous. I know.
Really?
I'm sorry, I keep asking you notes.
It's okay. No worries.
It's anonymous. Dude, they would pick different people if they knew that other people knew who they were voting for. They wouldn't vote for
Right.
those people.
Right, I understand.
Some of them.
So I have all the votes. Except for your characters.
Do you want me to write it? Or you just want me to
That's completely up to you. You could say them or whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. But if one of your characters doesn't, would just, So, hold on just a second. Yeah. Okay. So you want to write them or you want to tell me?
Yeah, Lily. Lily would vote for Zira and Mal.
Okay.
And Billy does not care.
She's just like, I'm not voting.
Yeah. She'd be like, I don't know enough about everybody to really have an intelligent opinion about it.
All right, Babe will take them out, count them up. 9 for Mal. I'm sorry, 10 for Zira, 9 for Mal, 2 for Lily, 1 for Myra. So it looks like it's going to be Mal and Zira.
Myra voted for herself.
She voted for you and herself. Fuck yeah, now you know because you know the other one's the other. Yeah, fuck yeah, you and her. She's like, we'll stay behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, she still felt the same way.
Yeah.
So,
Harris will give that ring to Zira.
all right, so Zira and Mal are going to stay behind when that time comes. So Vay lets everybody know about the wealth down in that area. He also says, you know, that anything you put in there, there's still some room left in there. I didn't completely fill it.
Mm-hmm.
In case we have contraband that we need to put there.
Mm.
You know, you can put your contraband down there. The thing will hide anything inside of it thanks to
Is it
arrows.
open?
Yeah.
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 Ray will go put her
Contraband down
contraband down
Delia
there.
too.
there? Okay. All right.
She pulls out an entire ounce of blackroot infused wolfsbane
Okay.
out of her backpack.
Pull it out. And
Puts it in.
Yeah,
She's got a bag with a bunch
With-
of blackroot in it too.
that
She'll
in
pull it
there?
out. Put it in there. Take a step back.
okay.
Lily can't get to her contraband, so it's fine.
Yeah. So once again, Velia, your ghost, you can feel her and you can talk to her, but it's distant like an echo. Like I said, she still feels like she's separated from you. She hasn't moved. There's been no communication. There's, you know, it's almost as if like she's attached to the prime. If a ghost comes to heaven, they are reborn into and renewed into whatever. So she's really just kind of connected to you, but not active.
Right.
You still get her hit points. You still get those sort of things. But
Delia, try to ask her if she's okay.
there's a long pause. And she says, yes. One must persevere. Yes. One must persevere. You don't feel sadness, or you don't feel like any kind of hardship of any sort, just determination.
From her.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to bother at all. Serva, the ghost in you. So,
Tell her I'll be back as soon as I can.
you hear stay safe, and it repeats itself like 3 or 4 times. Echoes. Anyway, you would have noticed that Gordon gave a big sigh when he looked at that list. But then he just,
Yes, 12 dozen.
you know,
12
just,
dozen loaves is
yeah.
necessary.
this list is ridiculous. This list is ridiculous.
We have to throw away.
You guys file back. Most everybody files back into this room here, and you see Era's moving furniture around, things out of the way. Braid asks if he can help you. You know,
She'll be like, yeah. She'll start directing him.
he'll take the chairs and start putting them
chairs
back.
over there.
Yeah.
Take that couch and put it in that room over there.
Okay.
Move that table. It's in the way.
He'll start doing those things. When he gets the couch into the bedroom, he looks back out at you, and he's holding this huge couch, and he's like, just on the bed.
Yeah, just put it in there.
He walks in and just kind of sets it on the beds, across them, and then he walks back in. Volk and Nin just kind of step out of the way and look, you know, like kind of confused, like what's going on, you know.
So Era's will walk up to Nin.
Okay.
Be like, what are your favorite colors?
Golden blue. And she
Golden blue?
smiles, yes.
She'll telepathy Gordon. She'll be like, make all of that golden blue.
Okay. With a wand?
No.
No?
Well, I guess I could do the carpets with the wand and the curtains. I meant the flowers.
You can't do those with a wand?
You can't get them gold and blue?
I don't know.
We'll try. If you can, I'll get them more.
Okay. I don't know if I can even get them. We'll see.
Made me lose my train.
I'm talking to Nim.
Thank you. Thank you. She'll look at her and she'll be like, so I was thinking for your makeup, we can just do like some light eye makeup. She'll smile at her.
She doesn't say anything. She just kind of looks at you and looks down. You see him kind of look uncomfortable, kind of standing around, you know, and Vay says, hey, big guy. Kind of turns and looks at her and goes, come over here.
Here.
And Vay starts walking out with him, talking to him.
Nice.
He kind of stops for a second, looks back at Nin, and you see him look at you and Nin, and
She'll smile and
Okay.
pat her.
he turns and he walks out with Vay. They go back out towards the storage area in that direction. Vay leaves the room with him alone.
Or is everybody else back down that way?
No, everybody's come back in here. Everybody's in here. Unless you say otherwise, your
Yeah.
characters, everybody else is in here helping clean up the area, move it around, and get ready for whatever.
She'll tell Nin as soon as Gordon gets back with my wands, we can maybe do a wedding dress. She'll smile at her. I can just do it magically, so you don't have to change or anything.
She asks you what that is. Clothing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's like traditional clothing for a wedding.
Okay. All right. A few moments later, you see Gordon coming down the steps, and he's got a bunch of flowers. Like some are coming out of the. They're just stuffed in this bag that he has, and they're not lotuses. They're just various different colored flowers, and he just kind of comes in with them and sets them down at the bottom of the steps. Will that work, or?
She'll kind of look at him and be like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Where am I gonna find the lotus flowers?
I don't know.
He kind of looks over at Nin, and she looks at you like, yeah, where's he gonna find those? Like he goes, these are really pretty, and they smell good, and you can smell them. They're like filling up the cabin with
Right.
the smell of fresh flowers.
Can I change the way that they look to lotuses with the wands?
Possibly.
I'll try to do that. He doesn't have that stuff yet, does he?
He doesn't. He just
Okay.
reaches in the flowers, and then he looks across the room, and he walks over to one of the curtains, and he picks it up off of the window and looks and tries to telescope it more, and it doesn't go quite as far, so he goes and grabs a curtain rod from another curtain, and so he takes all 4 curtains and he makes 2 big ones, and they're blue, and he just looks at you and he sets them on the bar and walks out.
Hey, Uncle Gordon.
Yeah.
Bill, you'll catch up to him.
Okay, he just goes
Ray-
up to the deck.
Ray will go. Yeah, Ray will run after her.
Okay, 2 of you come up on the deck with him, and you're still under Noah's, but you can see out, you know, in different directions and stuff like that.
I know that you're really busy, but I have a verbatim question that I need to ask you.
He just stops and looks at you seriously, you know.
I would normally take care of this in another way, but I think it's important before we go into this battle. So I have attained enough power to start casting. I think it just happened. And so I needed to find out how I go about doing that in the correct way.
In the old way, they would use mistletoe and pray to earth, to the trees and the land and everything. But that way is long forgotten. Now you must pray to a deity. You must choose one, just as a priest would. If you wish, I could grant you your spells. Just pray to me. If not, you'll need to choose another and just pray and get 8 hours of sleep. And you see, it just
But I
kind
don't sleep.
of turn. Well, rest.
Ray would be like, you can grant her spells?
Yes.
Can I make an intelligence check for that?
Yeah.
She made it. Or she wouldn't look at him and be like, so that means you're a god.
Yeah. I don't
Kind
know.
of raise an eyebrow.
I don't know if you would call me that, he says. I am a ranger who lots of orcs pray to. And there's so many of them that for some reason I've become more than I was. And it's not because I am a god. Some would see it as that. Some would say a demigod. But I do not see it necessarily as such. I'm Gordon Lightfoot. He just looks at you. I'm just offering this to you. You don't have to really worship me, and I'll still grant your spells. Just pray to me and let me know to release the energy to you.
Thank
It might be cheating, but he shrugs his shoulders. All right, is that it?
you. It is.
All right,
Thank you.
go back down.
She really
Don't
clear
want you out on
chest.
the, don't want you on the
Say-
deck, you guys.
Okay. You hear me?
See him hop and just down.
Do you hear me?
Yeah. He doesn't say anything though when you say it. When he jumps down, you know, you realize that he's still really, really dexterous. Even without the ghost, he can do amazing acrobatics. He takes these huge leaps, 20 feet, 18 feet, then 15 feet down to the dock with no problem, like a cat.
Right.
And then he just casually starts walking up the dock. Before you see it, like, it's amazing because it's this ghost and it's these huge leaps and stuff. But you realize now when the ghost is not in him, he's still very dexterous.
Yeah.
And he leaps. You guys go below deck?
Yeah.
While you're up on the up deck, make an observation.
Yeah.
No.
You turn to go down, and you turn to go down, and you stop and look, and you see the energy weapons that are like ballista that are on these swivels that swivel around, and you realize that as you're looking at the two that are the new ones he added, the color's different on the swiveling part at the bottom, and you look over at the other ones, you see he's changed all those, and they evidently now they'll go 360 degrees. So you can like turn it and point it at the ship and shoot the ship with it even. I mean, or across the ship, or
She's like, hey, Lily, check that out. She'll point
stop
out.
her.
Yeah, she'll be like, look.
You go look at it?
Too.
You guys walk up to them and they've got these comfort grips on them. Like you touch them and the buttons, everything, it looks snazzy, like looks new, and you realize it's like, and like you realize you could step up onto it with one foot and push with the other, and the whole platform will turn that you're standing on, and then you can stop it with your foot, you know, come out, stop with your foot and fire in another direction.
Nice.
But as you're looking at them, both of you realize you're proficient with these. You picked up a proficiency with ballista, and you did it in the black ice, if you recall.
Yep, for the sled.
You can use any of these guns as you look at them, even though you're not sure what they do or what they fire. You realize the mechanics of it, and you're like, you know, you can aim it. You just have to fire one to see how far it goes and what the trajectory is, and you would have it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wonderful.
It was you two, and Vay, I think. I don't think anybody else had a slot open. Did they?
I don't remember.
Tatalda did not. Doobie did not. I can't remember. We may have to go look back one of our old episodes and see. I
think
don't
that,
remember, but
God, I've lost your damn name. She's been in so much trouble
Yayla?
lately. Yayla?
Yeah.
I think Yayla did.
No,
Because there were
because
5 of them, right?
right, but she tried to use one and then used her bow.
Ah,
Remember, she's like, "Fuck this! I can shoot my bow at that hole too. I'm not using this
Yeah.
fucking thing." So it wasn't her. It was very few. I think it was only 2 or 3 of you, 3 or 4 of you maybe at the most. We'll go back. We'll check it out. I'll think about it. Might remember it. But you two are proficient.
Nice.
No negatives. All right.
Nice. Go back down.
Okay. Well, the 2 of them were up there, Eras and Lily, and all you guys are down here on the bottom deck. And Mal walks up to Zira. He's like, "So, you want to familiarize me?"
I do. I got some things I want to talk to you about. So, she'll kind of look around.
Start walking out of here up towards
Yeah,
to
she'll,
the bridge.
She'll be like, come on,
Okay.
let's go up to the bridge.
He follows you.
She'll take them up there, and when they get up there, she'll, lay out the charts, and she'll start talking about the charts and the portals and
He looks at it.
all of it, and then she'll point at the Kessel Wave,
Okay.
and she'll be like, this right here is the Kessel Wave.
All right.
I've got some thoughts about this, but it's really sporadic. But like, say we needed to get out of heaven in a last-ditch effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she'll just try to explain it all to him, the Kessel Wave and how it all works.
Okay. Explain.
Basically, I'm trying to remember everything that you told me. Basically, there's a 60-foot circumference from. So if the Kessel Wave were in the very center of it, there would be 60 feet out from each side.
Okay.
You have to
So
go through that side.
I'll show the Kessel Wave so the other characters can see what you're talking about. So yeah, between there and there is 60 feet.
But the Kessel Wave moves, so it's not always in the middle.
Right. So you can
but
see
the
that
Kessel Wave,
it kind of spins, but on the graphic.
She would tell him this goes directly to the prime.
Which prime? Our prime?
Yes, our prime.
This goes to Ashington?
It does. It comes out kind of close to Spy. If you look at the charts.
Okay, he starts looking and he's like, he just listens to you and looks over them, and you explain that it's attached to the Great Rift.
Yes, I'll explain all
That
of
this
that.
wave is attached to the Great Rift. All of that stuff.
It would be a last-ditch effort, but if we needed to get out in a pinch, we could use that.
You show him where it's located.
I do.
on the map.
And then she'll, after they're done doing that, she'll show him how to unplug the regulator.
Okay.
She'll walk up to the regulator. She'll be like, "This is a regulator. This is what caps our top speed, basically, and you unplug it right here." And she'll show him how to do it and all of that. So if she's running the helm, she can't
Right.
walk up and unplug it.
No,
So she'll
she
just
can't.
show him all that. She'll give him the laydown on all the shit she learned,
Okay.
basically.
He listens. Meanwhile, you guys are all moving around the this
When
cabin.
Velia and Ray go to head back downstairs, Velia wanted to ask Ray, hey, do you think that since everybody's messing around with this wedding and stuff, that maybe we could do some training?
Yeah. Quick trip.
Like
You need to
I taught
learn.
you meditation, but then we forgot.
We did. We never had time. Where could we go? I guess we could go in the storage room. There's nothing in there right now. Let's go in there. I can just leave the door open or whatever. Okay. Take her in there.
You girls come walking in there, you know, you turn the corner, walk in. You see Vay's got a practice sword in his hand, and so does Volk.
Oh. Is the space taken?
And they stop, kind of look at you guys.
Space taken?
No, come on in.
Come on, Relia. She'll walk in and go to the other side of the room. She'll start sewing her blade like this, and then just start teaching her, however long that takes.
How many do you have?
For weapon or non-weapon?
Quick draw can
How
be
many
different.
training sessions do you have?
1.
Need
No,
to-
no, none. Because when I taught her the meditation, all of her memories came back. And so we never did a training session. We were going,
Ever?
I don't think, did we?
We didn't even do that. Huh, that's crazy.
I don't think
Thought
we
we
did.
did.
Damn, so 8, 16, 24 hours is how long it would take, and you could fill a slot,
Okay.
which would leave you 6 hours before Bahamut's supposed to, move the Imperial Citadel to the
Minus
first
the
level, which is a
wedding.
lot of questions with all that and everything too.
There is. There's a lot of questions.
Minus the wedding. And
Ray's got some questions for
so you
both
start
of us.
training her, so we'll try to go for the first 8 hours.
Okay.
And at least get that, and we'll find out where we're at. Goodness, might speed up some things, who knows, so.
It's better than sitting around staring at everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So, Gordon gets back with all your stuff.
Nice. She will deck that room out.
He gives you the illusion wands, he gives you the cube of force, the healing potions, the belt, the flying carpet, and the rod, the teleport rod.
Does he come in
We-
carrying all of it?
No,
Okay.
he is holding on to the flying carpet with his hand and just trailing behind him with all this stuff on it.
That's why I said.
And he
the
comes
flying
down the steps
carpet.
with it and just kind of,
Thank you.
welcome.
Just start gathering.
Hands
all
you the
of
bag
it.
of holding.
Take it. Just tie it back under her belt. She'll put the belt on, and
Uh,
it's one of those. Sorry. Go ahead.
strapped to his back, around his shoulder and his back, there is a carpet though. You're like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, I sent him for a carpet.
Yeah,
He
super
throws it on the
carpet.
ground, and it's this blue carpet that he rolls out that goes circular, semicircular, like a quarter of a circle. And he puts it out. He asks you where you want it.
She'll show him.
He pulls out the candles. You already have the flowers, so you just start building all this.
She will. Before she does that, she's gonna put her belt on,
Okay.
and it's like one of those belts with like the potion things
Okay.
and the bags, and she'll put all the potions in the belt and kind of just situate her stuff.
Is that from when you were low level?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I
That's
still have
fucking
it.
awesome.
What was his name? Cookie made it for me.
Nice. Good old
Really?
Cookie.
Good old Cookie.
Lily still wears hers.
Oh.
She just added to it.
So she'll walk up to Nin. She'll be like, okay, so she'll kind of look her over.
All right.
Go ahead.
She just looks up at you, kind of doe-eyed, but there's a sense of danger behind her eyes that you just can't quite put your finger on. That's the way she looks.
Like the doe-eyed is a trap. It's a trick.
Like when you first initially look at her, yeah, the doe eye is like, hey, and you just kind of stare at her, but then the eyes kind of move a little bit, and there's more intelligence in them than you give them credit for, because when you first look at her, she looks just cute, kind of. And then you realize this is an extremely dangerous individual.
She's a protector of Bahamut's chosen
Yeah.
one. I would
Yeah.
hope so.
Right?
Like,
And she looks at you.
she's like, okay, so accept these, okay? She'll touch her. No, my spell. Accept my spell. She doesn't say anything.
She nods at you.
She'll do her makeup.
Okay.
She's just like real gentle, you know.
Okay.
Dress, whole 9 yards.
Okay.
She'll deck her
You
out.
put any shoes on her?
No.
Okay.
She doesn't like shoes.
She doesn't.
Not wearing them. I don't
She's
have any
not.
wear shoes.
So what color is everything? Yeah.
It's all what? It's all blue.
Blue?
Let's do blue.
Okay.
Actually, before she does that, no, I'm not gonna do that. Actually, never mind.
What are you gonna do?
That's too personal of a question. White stands for something.
It does?
It does. They weren't gonna
Actually,
to begin with.
in American culture, it stands for nothing. Everybody wears a white dress, and all in bitches is lying. I'm just kidding. No. Jokes, folks.
She'll do it blue.
Uh,
She's not gonna give her a veil.
let your freak flag fly, whatever it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Put black on if you want to. But
She'll do it blue.
okay.
to match everything.
Put a
else.
veil in the whole 9 yards,
No.
like our okay.
No
None of
veil.
that's okay.
No veil.
All right.
And then after she's done with Nin, she's gonna walk around to each person, and she's gonna put them in wedding clothes with illusion magic.
So after she does Nin comes to you and kind of looks at you, and she goes over and she does this. She goes, "I draw. Do I have ink?"
Lily will pull out a notebook.
Okay.
Like she doesn't speak our language. Like she wants to draw to.
No, she does
Tell
speak
me
a language.
something?
She just the way she says,
Okay.
like I draw. Her English
Yeah.
is kind of broken a little. Her common. So she takes the quill and the ink and paper and she draws out an outfit.
Nice. I'll look at it.
And it's this beautiful Eastern outfit, completely different than the dress. And she points at it when she's done, and then she shows you the colors of it. Like the dress is multiple colors. Like it has rainbow
So I'll
colors
look
of
at it?
flowers, and there are different things on it. Okay.
I'll look at it and do it exactly like the picture.
All right. Perfect.
And then when I'm
then she
done-
tells you that will be better for him.
When I'm done, I'll pull out the charisma oil that
Okay.
I got,
All right.
and I'll let her wear. Like I'll put a dose on her
Goodness. Okay.
and put it away.
She smiles at you when you do. She says, "This smells good," and it does. You're like smelling it. You're like,
I'm gonna walk around to each person in the room, and I'm gonna deck them out in wedding clothes.
Okay, so the one next to you is Myra, and she looks at you like,
She'll walk up to her kind of like this. She'll be like, "Trust me," and she'll put her in a suit, but with the trim, the colors.
okay, all right.
How's that? And she'll
Really
do
like
Lily.
she goes, "I don't really like the colors, but I
I'll
understand."
do Lily with the colors, but a dress.
Okay.
But it's over your armor. You still got your armor on. And she'll do that
Illusion.
to everybody.
Okay, so you do Lily next, and then you go over to Tuffy, and he tells you what to do with the priest robes
Mhm.
from Nera and all that.
Do it.
And Braid's just standing next to Era's, or standing over there next to where Era started, so he'll be last. You look for Gordon, he's gone. You're like, he came down the steps, brought that stuff, and must have went back up the steps again.
Okay.
And Vay's not in here, and neither is Volk, and neither is Dahlia, and neither is Ray,
Is it a free wedding?
and neither is Zira, and neither is Mal. They're gone.
They all ran
Yeah,
from the
bored.
wedding. They all ran.
Got shit
Took
to do.
off. She'll wait until everybody comes back in here. She'll just chill.
Okay. I'm gonna let, as long as time goes by until Eras does something, probably because nobody else really is into this thing. And if you want to do something else during this time period, let me know. But as time ticks, I'll say the first hour goes by. We're gonna start with the second hour. Is there anything you want to do? You want to try to get everybody in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if nobody comes
Belia,
in, she can-
Ray, you guys are worked out for about an hour. And you see Vay and Volk doing the same. And Volk, Vay never hits him once. He never contacts with him once. The whole time we're down there.
Like, does he try?
With the wooden swords, yeah, you can tell, and Volk's toying with him. Yeah, it's quite the thing. You get Vay's just getting pissed. You can tell Vay's getting mad, and Volk's being very honorable and very just like, you know.
About that point,
Yeah.
Erica's will walk in.
Okay.
Like, it's time, guys. Wait, before you go anywhere, she'll walk around to each person and do the same thing. And then when she gets to Volk, she'll be like, what's your traditional wear for something like this? What do you prefer to be dressed in?
He tells you a long kimono with several. You know, he tells you exactly how to make it.
I'll do it.
Okay.
and I'll do everybody's.
Some of it's wrong, and he has to tell you to adjust it, and you do,
Right,
and
right,
you
right.
figure it right.
She doesn't know the culture.
Formal samurai warrior outfit.
And then she'll walk through the rest of the strip and go try to find everybody else.
All
Do
right.
The same thing with each of them.
You can get everybody done.
Zira is not gonna let her do that though. Just.
All right. So Zira and Mal come back
She'll
in.
be like, no. She'll walk up to Mal. Look at him.
It looks.
She's holding the wand.
What is this? You see appear right next to him in his fingers a blue flower, and he puts it on his cloak.
She'll go try to find Gordon. She'll tell him.
Okay.
Ready. Go.
All right.
Go.
They'll start going in there. Where do you go to find him? Up on deck? Go
Yeah.
to the stairs?
Yeah.
You get up there and you look, and he has been altering some sort of ammo for the ballistas. You're not sure what it is. He's over there. There's a pile of chains and some weights and yeah,
What are you doing?
and what look like grappling hooks attached to giant ballista arrows, ballista bolts
She'll walk up and be like, what
with
are you
ropes.
doing?
Making this stuff better.
Oh. Well, it's time.
For what?
Wedding.
Oh, cool. He gets up.
Pull out the wand. She'll, I don't know if he'll accept it or not.
What do
I
you
know
do?
he's
He
wrong.
does. He does.
Like all the other guys.
Okay.
Same thing. They're all matching. Every single one of them.
He looks at himself and he goes, "What's this clown suit for?
The wedding. And she'll do it to herself.
Am I doing
like all the other
something?
females.
I'm not marrying them. Tuffy's doing that. What?
Come on.
Are you done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you look, okay. He comes. Everybody kind of gathers all around and everything, and Tuffy tells everybody to come and have a seat. About that point, or come and stand around, about that point, Harrison and Griffin come in from the deck. They come down, hello, you know. And Tuffy's like, hey, come on down. And they come down. What's going on? They kind of look over at the two new people, you know, like Harrison goes, did you get some new crew?
You could say that.
The monkey-like creature with the wings, he looks over at Eris and he's like, hey! He's like,
She'll smile. Zira will say back to him in his language, hey.
He turns and looks at Zara.
Smile.
He smiles, kind of. Steps over to her. You speak? He's like, you speak my language?
Mm-hmm.
You reply back to him.
Yes. Yes, I do.
They start talking. You hear her. She's doing something weird over there. Sounds like a monkey. Looks like she's making fun of him or something, but he's like enjoying it. Harrison just looks over at Lily and Eris and Gordon. Yes, you're standing there. He said, did you get a new crew? What's going on?
We're having a wedding.
Yeah.
Gordon's like, they were our enemy this morning. They're not now because they love each other. So we're going to marry them. With blessings of Ariax, goddess of love. He just kind of looks at you all funny. He's like,
What?
there's a punchline. That has to have a punchline. Gordon's like, no,
we're
it's the
serious.
truth. He's like, oh. Kind of looks over. He's like, hey, furball. You see the monkey kind of looking at him. He's like, keep your eyes open, he says. He's like, he looks at the other two. At that point, Tuffy's like, Eris, would you mind taking care of the two new guests if they're going to stay?
Mm-hmm. She'll walk up to him and be like, all right, accept this spell.
Harrison's
She'll
like,
like come
whoa!
to Harrison. She'll be like, just accept my spell. She'll look at him.
Gordon's like, she's going to make you look like us so you can stay for the wedding.
She'll touch him with the wand, make him look like everybody else.
All right. The monkey just looks at you and you see his teeth kind of
Is he
bare.
wearing clothes?
Some, but it's more like this homemade outfit
She'll
type
make a
thing.
bow tie that's the same color, but she'll do it like this, you
All right,
know?
all right.
And she'll go,
He takes it.
do you know how, oh, she can't talk to him. Do you know how to put it on? Here, she'll take it from him.
You see him
Yeah.
kind of put it around his wrist, and he's
Oh.
like,
She'll do it. She'll make a bow. That's fine.
so he wears it on his wrist.
Yeah, that's not.
He
that's
kind of
not
looks
what
at it
she
funny,
was
you know. He's like,
thinking.
and then he kind of goes, He looks over at Zero and he says, I like that color. He goes,
Me too.
He says, there's a lot of it in here. He says,
Yeah. Wedding colors.
He nods it. You're like, okay, you know. And then Tubby goes, everyone please gather around. And Aaron's, would you please take her from the room?
She'll take.
She's like, what? You take her out?
She'll tell her you have to walk in. I'm gonna stand off to the side over here and play music. When I start playing the music, you walk down the aisle and stand.
You're
And she'll explain it. She'll explain.
you're
it
sitting there
all.
talking to her as you're talking to her. Vay comes around the corner and walks up to her and goes, holds his arm out like,
Aww.
you do this one.
She
She kind of looks at him funny,
she would
like,
be
what the
like,
fuck?
Aw. Usually in our tradition, your father would give you away to the man you're marrying. But since you don't have somebody to give you away, Vay's offering to do
Vay
that.
smiles and holds his arm down. He goes, who's your daddy? And she goes, I don't know. And he's like, no, I mean, that was a joke, he says. And he kind of looks at her. She doesn't get it. She just kind of looks at him funny. And then she puts her arm around his.
She'll go stand like kind of off to the side, like over there. Start playing music.
Okay,
But it's not. You feel me? It's
real gentle.
it's pretty
So
music. Not
Tuffy
dun,
says,
dun,
thank you.
dun.
Thank you all for coming. When he starts hearing Nera's play, he says, thank you all for coming and being present for this thing of beauty and love that we're going to do today. It seems that a war was stopped, or at least some death was stopped. Perhaps even things will be changed permanently. This will be a prophecy that we're all part of that no one else has been a part of. But I am honored, Volk, to be doing the ceremony for you and your soon-to-be bride. And he holds the rings out in his hand, and he gives him the female ring, you know, and he waits, holding the other one, and then he left these to you. You can bring her in now, and you're playing.
She'll look at Vay.
He smiles at you, kind of nods, and just stands there. Oh, and he's like, oh, and he goes.
Like, you think I'm just smiling at you for no reason? What the
Yep.
fuck?
Yep.
He walks down the aisle with her.
Narcissistic.
Funny.
Fuck.
He walks down the aisle with her and takes her all the way to the front, and then lets her go up there. And he helps her. Volk helps her up, you know, when she comes up, and holds her hand. And yeah, Tuffy performs the wedding ceremony and asks them for the rings, and they put the rings on each other. He pronounces them man and wife, and you know, tells them they can kiss and all that. And they look at each other and kind of look around the room like, what the fuck? Kiss, you know, like. And she shakes her head no, and he looks over at Tuff, and he's like, he goes, no, it's like a one-time thing, you know, you don't have to do it anymore. It's just, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. And he smiles. And he goes, it's just to show that everyone else that you're together, you know, that you're really in love. And he's looking at him, like shaking his head no, like that. And then you see her jump up and straddle him around his waist and start kissing him. And he's like, and he kind of backs up and kind of goes down the step almost. And then he holds her and kisses her back. And then she slides down him and goes and stands next to him and holds his hand and just kind of looks down, smiling, all blush-faced. And then there's like a pause in the room because that happened, but just like, and then Tuffy goes, man and wife! I pronounced it man and wife in the name of Ariax. Congratulations. Everybody claps. And Gorgain throws one of the flower bundles that's in the vase, throws it all in the air at everybody. Ah! And it
God
just
damn it.
flowers go everywhere. Just one of them. He smiles and laughs. Yeah, so that's done.
Little side quest, no big deal.
When the DM gets snookered into a wedding and he doesn't like them or believe in them, really. Anyway, wedding's over. Sad face or happy face. Yes. So, Gordon, as soon as the wedding's over, he looks at you guys and he says, "I hate to immediately go to business, but let's move all this stuff back as we're talking." He says, "If you don't mind."
She'll take herself out of the wedding clothes.
Okay, take everybody out. Like it, yeah. Okay. Get all except so. Myra goes, "No, I'm good.
You like it?
Yeah, like it."
Nice.
Could you put a top hat on me? She says. What do you think? She looks at you.
I like it.
She grabs her sword and kind of uses that as a cane. You know, she's like, distinguished.
Looks familiar. Can't quite place it.
Yeah.
Serious.
Takes the top hat off and then kind of holds it out like that and it disappears. And she lets go of it.
Start moving everything back.
But yeah, everybody else does their thing. Al doesn't. He keeps his lapel
Nice.
flower is still present. Tuffy takes all his stuff off, and you can see him over there. He's sniffing a little bit. He's got his back turned to you, and he's putting things away in his bag and stuff. He's like,
Is he crying?
"You think he might be?" He's like,
Aw.
and Gordon starts talking. So, who's staying behind? Let me hear that first. And Bay says, Mal and Zira is who was voted for. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I got that right. Mal and Zira. And Gordon's like, okay, so our first step is to, now that we have the wands, we could alter the other two and have them come with us. Just an idea. Probably a bad one. But we should try to find a way to get to Tranquility Bay and take one of those things over in the time period that we're going to attack, whenever that is. If that's going to happen, we need to already be on the inside, and we need to probably go in stealth. We've got to get out of the HQ. You know, the Radiant Wing and all that. And Vay's like, can I add something? And Gordon looks at him, and then he kind of looks at everybody else's reaction when that happens. He like kind of looks around. You look at Eris first. That's what you do?
She's
Like quizzical?
yeah.
Okay. And then he
But
looks,
kind of like
then he
with
looks
the
at
weird,
Lily.
like with the
So there's
weird,
been this
you know.
weird thing going on with Vay, and it's not unnoticeable by those of you that tend to lead the party.
Mm-hmm.
He's been very polite about it. He's not like overextended himself at all. Like, and some of his ideas have been good, but you know,
He's trying to lead.
he kind of interrupts Gordon in a way. And Gordon kind of looks at him and then looks over at you, and then he goes, "Sure," like that. And Vay's like, "I know this sounds like a crazy idea, but just bear with me. I like the idea of us getting a ship. I think that's a great idea. Once we go through this beacon thing, right, then we're gonna fly this ship to the headquarters of the police. We're gonna put ourselves in the center of the people that would be looking for us and chasing us if we did something wrong. Now I know this sounds crazy, but I want you to think about it before you pull a judgment call. What if we fly that motherfucker straight into the front door of the fucking Platinum Palace?
Ray gets a big ass smile.
What if we crash land that motherfucker in through the front doors of this place? And then we get out and we kill him. We fucking find him and we kill him. You see Volk kind of look over at him and kind of serious for a second. Then he goes, nods like that, like
It's a good idea.
like it's a good idea. Nin kind of raises an eyebrow, like, what the fuck? Like, she's shocked by what he says. She's like, but that's all you get out of the two of them. The rest of everybody, there's really no noticeable reaction except for everybody looking at each other like, how are you reacting? They all want to know how everybody's reacting. They're like,
Right.
looking around. Vay turns and looks at Velia. He telepathies to her. Get you as fucking close as we can. Why do we gotta fight through all the bullshit? We need all your energy for him. Gordon looks around when he says it.
Ares is looking at Gordon for his reaction.
He looks down for a second, and you can tell he's thinking about it. And then he says, "Well, it would be dangerous crashing into a building with a spelljamming vessel. I mean, we're purposely going to crash ourselves, right?" And Vade's like, "Yeah, absolutely. We can slow down enough to aim it perfectly through the doors. Maybe we can skid through a hallway. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll stop immediately. But we have magic. We can take precautions, right? We can try to protect ourselves from the crash before it happens if we know it's going to happen." Gordon looks over at Volk and Nin, and he's like, "Will they be notified if we alter our course from going to the headquarters?" Volk kind of looks at her, and then he looks back. He says, "Yes, most likely they will wonder what you're doing in an attempt to contact you. Whether or not they react in time before you crash is unknown. I doubt they will be able to do that. It is a good plan. It will get you through the center, to the center of the Imperial Citadel, to the Platinum Palace directly. We would have had to sneak you through that area. And then some. It would have taken quite some time, with much dangers. This way, the only thing we must deal with are those in the Imperial Citadel's Platinum Palace, stronghold of Bahamut. I think it's a good plan," Volk says. Gordon says, "Vay, congratulations. They agree."
Reminds me of Hedda a little bit.
You see Gorgain kind of smile. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Miss him just a little bit less.
Yeah. Nona ahead, he would love to have done this. Yeah. We'll see him soon. And the others. We have a sense of destiny to fulfill, Gordon said, or Gorgain says.
That we do, my friend.
I agree with a young lad, Gorgain says. Gordon's like, "Any opposed to this idea?" He looks around. None? Then that's what we should do. Capture a ship, go through the beacon, and then crash it into his palace and find him and kill him.
Did Griffin and
They're still standing there.
Harrison?
They're still standing there.
What's the look? This is Ares. Just realized. What's the look on his face?
Harrison is back by the bar,
Mm-hmm.
and you see that he's putting some glasses out of a crate in the bar as this is all going on. And the big guy's at the end of the bar, and he's got some bottles he's pulling out of this satchel and putting it onto the bar.
Interesting. They don't seem to be reacting to what we're talking about.
No,
though?
they're just listening. You can tell they're listening. Harrison's kind of, when he's putting the glasses up, he kind of looks up for a second, and then he just kind of smiles, and he's like,
Okay.
Gordon looks at Harrison. He's like, "Do you have any suggestions now that you know what we're here for?" Not really. He starts to pour himself a glass of whatever this is, and it looks like wine. Red wine. Puts it down. Takes a drink. He's like, I think it's a great idea. Just make sure that you pull the wings back. If I were you, I would jettison the wings right before impact. They'll keep you from going forward. If you're just a cylinder, you go right through whatever hallway or building it is. Keep those wings on though, it'll be a problem. I jettison the wings at the last minute. Other than that, I have no other advice for you. Talk about balls in heaven, golden balls. You guys got some. Just takes a big drink. Gordon goes, not really. None of us want to do this. We're just trying to save our world. You see Harrison nod. We know about that, don't we, big guy? And he looks down at the other guy. May you succeed where we failed. And he holds up his glass. And you see him go, "Arr!" And they drink. Have some wine if you guys want. There's some glasses and stuff. He said, I just wanted to bring you a welcoming gift and tell you the job's done. And he walks right up to Gordon. He goes, and it's time to get paid. And he smiles at him. Gordon nods. Tell you what. I'll be right back. And he leaves. Gordon does. Then he's like, thank you so much. He extends his hand to him. See him take his glove off. Extends his hands. Thank you so much. See Harrison kind of look at him and he's like, and they shake hands. Okay, let's go. Not saying you see anything, nothing seems to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he didn't do anything. I can take his glove off.
Right?
Yeah.
And a few moments later, Gordon comes back. Meanwhile, what are you doing? You guys are all in there. You see the two of them take their illusion off and start. He starts looking at his weapons, looking them over and his armor and everything.
Ray would look at Velia and be like, you want to go train? Yeah, let's go. We'll go in that same room.
Okay.
And just
Before we
train.
go out, though, I'll out loud, I'll say, hey, Antieras,
Yeah.
is it good? Is it okay if we go train until we're ready to leave? Until you guys are ready to leave? Come let us know.
Yeah, of course. You're not leaving the ship, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Mel walks up to you.
To Velia?
Yeah. So, what are you training? Is there something you're trying to learn?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that you need badly?
He's going to teach her Jitsu.
What is that?
Quick draw. I can show you.
Come show me, he says.
Okay.
And he walks with you guys. You guys go into the storage room where you were starting to practice and train and everything, and he said, you start to show him, and he says, so, if you want, I could grant that with a simple spell. And he kind of holds his hands up.
And make it where I can learn that right now?
Yeah.
Really?
Do you want that?
Yeah.
His hands start to glow this intense purple, dark purple color. And he holds his hands up and they're outlined in this gold energy. And it crackles and you see this absorption of energy go into his hands and his palms. And then it just disappears and you're like, and you know, and you hear him say, she knows Jitsu. And you know it. You're like,
Ray
I know
would
it.
look at her.
I got it.
Really?
And you see him like ignore you guys and kind of turn away from you, and he looks at his hands and he's like, you see him smiling. He's like, thank you.
Thank you.
He goes out the door, kind of hops almost. He starts to giggle and goes down the hallway.
Oh, fuck. He's a strange.
You guys see Mao come in, almost like a monkey jumping around. He hops up on one of the chairs, does a twist and a backflip and lands on his feet, and then rolls backwards a couple times and pops up and is like, ha ha!
What's up, Mal?
My magic has arrived, he says.
What do you mean? Eris would say. What does
I've
that
been
mean?
blessed by the gods. It's so good to feel this energy. Yes. Thank you all. You see him bow.
Never disappoints. Ever. It's always good for a laugh.
He goes over, starts pouring himself a drink, and he's giggling a little bit. And you see him put a piece of black root in his mouth. He's like, Zira, you notice it. You're just like, wait a minute. He's
supposed to help me. Great. So is Harrison still standing over there?
yeah.
So she'll walk up to the bar 0. She'll be like, Harrison.
He's counting the money. Gordon's giving it to him. He's counting it.
Tell me
Yeah.
everything you know about the Kessel Wave. She'll, you know.
He smiles. Zzz. You see the Harris or Griffin kind of look at you like this. He's like, kind of turns his head and smiles a little bit. And you see Harrison stop, and he's like, "What do you mean?" He zips it all away.
You know what I mean. Anything you know about the Kessel Wave.
Well, I mean, there's lots of things to know about the Kessel Wave. He grabs the bag and starts to walk towards the stairs. And Griffin goes with them, pops up with him. He's like, "If you want to know, I can tell you what I know. But
Yeah.
I need to
sure.
get this somewhere safe."
All right. So let him go. She's not following.
He goes up.
Nope.
No.
That was bait. I'm not taking it.
Mal looks over at you. He's like, "I think we know enough about this wave.
You think?
I do. It'll be different once we see it, I'm sure, if we ever see it.
If we ever see
Hopefully
it.
we won't need to."
Hopefully we won't need to. Yeah.
Gordon's like, "So in 30 hours, it will be present on this plane." We know that. My concern about that is that it will be more defended as well, probably, because it's being moved for a reason. He's being attacked on the Prime. He's moving and shaking. I'm wondering if we shouldn't go to the second plane, go through the beacon, and just, once we're there, no matter where it goes. Finding our way back out is the key, and we can plane shift and various other things. I'm wondering if we shouldn't go.
Right now?
Yes,
Eris would say?
yes. Let us say that perhaps he is like Beacon, and he has spy masters and such, and they already know we're coming. Maybe they don't know that we'll change our mind as to when we come.
Gotcha. It's a good idea.
And certainly not the means of our arrival.
Right.
Assume this is not something they would think of. He looks at Volk, and Volk is like, "No, it is not. It is a good plan."
Alright. The one thing we really need to figure out is how to protect ourselves when the ship crashes. That's the main thing.
Gordon's
I
like,
do
"Normally I
have-
wouldn't have an issue with a ghost, but yeah."
I do have a cube of force. So that will help, but I don't think it can fit all of this.
So, will we be tossed with a key of force? You know, maybe an anti-gravity spell. I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't work either. Gordon's like, "I'm not sure what we should do. Maybe netting that we strap ourselves into in the middle of the cabin? Because I thought about using my bow with ropes and holding in the center somewhere to where I couldn't be thrown into something. I think I'm strong enough to do that, but I don't know if everybody would be.
Sorry.
Bay's kind of looking around, he's like, hey guys, it's a crash. I mean, we get some padding or whatever, you know. Let's put some of those beds, you know, in the area that some of us are going to fall, or the couches, be on the couches against the walls. I don't know. You guys act like it's going to be something that's really painful or something. I don't know. You think? Gord's like, possibly, yeah. What if we hit a solid wall that doesn't allow it to travel through it? Or it does and it breaks it up, but there's a huge amount of force suddenly. It could be dangerous. Mal says, we could leave the ship right before it hit.
Good idea.
If we can see where it is, perhaps we could transport there. Maybe the teleportation rods. They still work.
Earth has hers now.
Who else has one? Gordon has one.
Zero has one.
Zira has one. Eris has one.
Lily has
Tuffy
one.
has one. Lily has one. That's it. Alexandria and Alex have one. The King and Aegean have one. Together, like each of them, those two. We could do that, but
If we teleported out, though, it would kind of, I don't know,
We'd
maybe
have-
defeat the purpose
we'd
of
have to do
going
it-
all the way in.
yeah,
The ship.
it might.
That's part of the purpose of all that.
Yeah.
is getting in the middle of it.
Harrison said to jettison the wings
He did.
right before impact, so we'll need to know how to do that. Is there anywhere in this book that, I mean, the book talks about commandeering it and getting it through the portal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
I don't know.
So yeah, that's it.
Sure.
It gives you your security clearance to get through the beacon,
Mm-hmm.
which is done with flags from your vessel. So somebody's going to have to go and give those numbers when you guys come through the beacon to the tower
Okay.
before you can go through the beacon, and you know that. That's in the book.
Okay.
But it doesn't give the security codes, it gives you the location of the security code. On the bridge of the ship
Gosh.
where it's located. And it's simply a serial number that's on the vessel itself. And it's next to the helm. It's basically the number of the vessel. There's a security code, but it's not commonly known. You understand? I mean, like that's
Right. That's
not. People
not.
don't know that that's what it is.
No.
Yeah.
So
But this book, whatever this was, that this White Tower Mage gave you. So,
the next question is who's going to drive the ship?
yeah.
Eris would say that. Who's
Huh?
gonna- Eris would say that. Who's going to drive? Should be whoever can go fastest, right?
Not necessarily. We're not going to need to go fast. We're going to need somebody that can thread a needle. Heather's coming with us.
She is.
You should drive it.
You
She
should.
looks up what?
You should drive it. Oh, Eris is that too. Yeah. You can do that. It should be you. For sure.
The bosun on the deck is the one that gives the security clearance, so there's someone on deck that has to do that, and then you're gonna have you have to have a navigator. You don't have to, but you're not going anywhere. but I mean you are, but you aren't. You know what I mean?
We have
So
to make it
Vol-
seem like we're all at our correct stations.
Vulcan, yeah, you have to seem like you're at your correct stations, but there'll only be people at certain stations, like manning the guns, and then a bosun on deck. So all the guns, usually all the guns are manned. Not always, but usually it depends on the crew. So the deck guns, there are 5, I think. 5 or 7, or maybe 7. Depends on the ship, but. And then the jettison area. So, first thing is to get one of those ships. So, I think as soon as possible.
Okay.
Now, are we going to keep this ship here in port with Zira right here? And just meet if something goes on? What?
Go ahead.
Just keep this ship here in port?
Zero would say yeah. I don't know what else we want to do with it.
Valiant Bay, do you
Unless
guys come back
something-
in? Now that you
You're
learned it?
Valiant, right? Yeah.
Valiant, right?
We would have came back in. Yeah.
So you come back in. Mal's smiling over in the corner.
Oh. When we crash, what if Eras and I, or just Eras, remember how she wizard locked everybody to their spot that one time?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would work.
That's a great idea.
That's a really good idea. I forgot I had that. You guys would have to accept the spell,
We could do that.
but yeah, it's in a 30-foot radius, I think.
So we'd all have to be within 30 feet.
Yeah. And then I would have to dispel it.
And you're
before.
doing it on the deck. We don't even know.
So the thing about
Yeah.
that is, though, I'll warn you guys, is whatever's in that area of effect, it won't just lock your feet. It will lock, say, your blade to your scabbard. Or if your hands are touching your body, it'll lock your hands to your body. You will not be
Powerful.
able to move.
And you can dispel it quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
She can, right? It's just
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
She just has to choose to
Absolutely.
dispel it.
You just do it with a cord. Just cancel it with a cord.
Yeah. And the
You play the chord, whichever.
and it doesn't affect me, right?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
If you're holding the mandolin, it doesn't affect you.
Okay.
So how are you gonna protect yourself from being thrown?
I could wizard lock you with a foot.
Well, wizard lock is specifically used for doors and things and openings and chests and different things. It's never used for the reason that she's using it. That's because of the mandolin, her artifact, has the ability to do that. That's why. You know, somebody drinking a mug of ale, getting ready to drink, it would be a wizard lock to their hand, it would be wizard lock to their chair. You know, anywhere where two items are touching like that. Anyway, another way to protect you would be important. You got everybody else. Now we just need to save you somehow from the crash. Can you fly, Ares? So you can just fly from the deck. Like we could go in the back of the ship at the top, and you could fly right above us and do that.
Yeah, I guess I could.
There you go.
a good idea. As long as I can fly as fast as the ship's going.
So do we take the ship to take us over there to the port, or do we get there another way? Peace Joy is on the east side of the island.
We don't want this ship connected to what we're gonna look like.
We don't.
In any way.
We don't.
We need for them to be here when we come back.
Or be able to try to get to you guys if we want to. I don't know how we would do that, but
Ray, you know Nixie's somewhere. You don't know where. You just have to
she would telepathy.
telepathy to her to bring her. Just so you're aware. You could
How you
teleport.
doing, Nixie?
Good.
Where you at?
Right outside the city to the east of you.
Okay. I was thinking about talking to everybody, but would you be willing to teleport us again?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Do you know where Peace Joy is?
I do.
Okay. Let me talk to everybody. Ray would speak up and say, I can have Nixie teleport us all.
Does she know a location where she could teleport us where we wouldn't be seen? Then we could walk up to the Port
I could
Authority.
ask her. She said she knows where Peace Joy is.
Okay, ask her.
She will.
Just say yes. She could get you there without being noticed
Absolutely.
immediately.
Yeah, she would say absolutely. She can.
We get all our shit on, look the part, go up and take the first ship that's empty,
It's a good idea. All
and
right.
go. What do you think?
Yeah.
Everybody prepare yourselves for everything that you need.
Yeah.
Tuffy says, if you all don't mind, I'd like to cast a few spells.
Yeah.
He comes to each of you and casts a word of recall.
To where? The ship? Okay.
And let's see. He tells you all he can bring the dead back in the right situations unless something's weird's going on. That he will be able to do that with the rod of Nera, he says. And you see him reach, pull his cloak back, and he pulls back this wand or rod that's about this long, and it has what looks like an elongated type skull. It's kind of a bone color, but yellowish, kind of old, looks like. And it looks like it's some kind of creature being skull. And it's about that big. And it's at the tip of this rod. And then it's filigreed and goes down to a black handle that has iron running along it, 4 areas, with a grip that's been leather that's been wrapped for a grip. And he holds it up. And it looks old. Huh?
Legends and Lore?
Roll it.
19. Under 85.
Yeah.
Those areas.
Mm-hmm. You heard that long ago there were rods that could bring the dead back, rods of resurrection, that a priest could use, and not neither the priest nor the person brought back would have to rest for X amount of days or anything like that. It was immediate. Rod of Nera,
Mm-hmm.
you've heard and read a few things about it being used during great times of war, certain things that have happened. It's always in a big thing that it was used in, and it was used to bring the minions of Nera back to life. A lot of the minions of Nera, some of the minions of Nera are undead. And so there are a few stories about it being used to kill undead as well. Not necessarily near as undead, but undead.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's about it, I suppose.
Okay.
And he tells you with this, I can bring the dead back. And I can heal any of you. Well, most of you.
Even if you're immortal?
I can't heal you. I don't believe. I'm sorry. I wish I could, baby. All right. You all get together, get Nixie,
Yeah.
and you,
Call her back.
Gordon will say goodbye to Zira, tell her to be safe.
She's got the ring. She's gonna let me know.
If we
Okay,
lose
so-
contact with you, then that's a whole new thing.
If
Hopefully.
that happens, what do you want me to do? How long do you want me to wait before I come looking for you?
I can't imagine this will take longer than an hour before there's some sort of idea about what's happened, whether it's us or them. He moves into you and gives you a big hug and kiss you. And may Ariax bless us, he says to you.
Your Rex blessings.
Everybody gets ready. And
Are we gonna let Alexandria know what we're doing, or are we just gonna surprise everybody?
Eris would say I don't think we should.
she asked not to know. Gordon.
Yeah. Just in case. Let's go.
Nixie, you summon Nixie?
Yes.
2 at a time, you get on her. She will teleport you to the east of the island over by Tranquility Bay in groups of 2 until everyone's finally there.
Okay.
And this is, you guys are just that direction of Tranquility Bay. To the left, it's actually going to be to the south because east is up in this map right here. This building in the center is the Port Authority building, and these are docks. And those are all the ships that are parked there. You're way down this way with some outcroppings of rock that shoot up. That some of them are 25, 30 feet tall. Some of them 10, 15, 12. And they're all bunched up on the beach there. You guys are kind of standing next to those, kind of looking around those rocks, down the beach, down the docks that are there. You see no normal ships docked at these docks that are there, but you see these Spelljammer vessels, and you see 6 of them. They're about 200 foot long, sitting way up on platforms. These docks are up in the air. They go up to where they're sitting there. You don't see any activity at all from where you're at right now. Like there's nobody walking around or anything. You do see the building, and it has lights on it and doors. Figure it out. We look into the book, look into the writing that mage gave you, and see what we do to get in.
Okay.
How we're supposed to start it.
Who has it?
I think Lily.
Ray will tell Nixie to wait on the ship for her.
Okay.
That she doesn't want her off roaming because just in case we have to jet out of here, she doesn't want her to get left behind.
No worries, she can do that. I want to remind you guys that you went ahead and just so Lily, you would have had to have cast enlarge on a couple people to get them to fit into the suits,
Including myself.
including yourself. So 3.
Yep.
3 enlarges.
Yep. It's an 8 out of the wand. It
Okay.
doesn't cost a charge or anything.
All right.
Out of my staff.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what it looks like here. There's 6 ships, Man of Wars, the Radiant Wings ships. There's 200 feet long, 30 feet wide. So according to the book, you enter here and then report what ship you're taking. So you'll need to sneak aboard one of the ships somehow to get the number, or find another way to get a number of one of those ships by the helm before you go in there. Or you can just sneak into it and not go through Port Authority. But to go through Port Authority, there'll be no questions if you do it right, if you get the number.
Okay. And Bob's gonna be our leader, right? He knows how to do all that. Bolt,
Right.
Sorry.
Right. But he doesn't have a number of the ship. Somebody's going to have to teleport on to one of those vessels or move on to one of those vessels somehow, some way, and get the information we need. So you look at all the vessels and none of them have anybody on deck. So that's one bonus. And you don't see any soldiers or troops anywhere out on these docks anywhere.
Is this a task that Razilla can handle?
Maybe.
Because she can stay invisible,
Yeah.
and then we can still communicate. She
Yeah.
can show me. I can see through her eyes, so
Yeah. You send her to do it?
I'll ask her.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's time to wake up and work.
Okay. She sleeps all the time,
She
it's like a
does.
dragon,
Yeah.
Anyway, she goes, yeah, I've had some good slumber, she says. What do you need?
Need
Pseudo
you
dragon.
to go onto one of these ships and get information for us so that we can steal it in a legal kind of way.
Okay.
We need the ship's number
She asks where it's at.
and the helm.
You're not sure what,
Oh,
you know it's by the helm, but you don't know where the helm is. You don't know anything about these ships.
tell her it's by the helm, but I don't know where the helm is.
So I'll have to search for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Was Lily in there? I don't think she was. Never mind. You don't know Zira has that book on ships? You don't know that, I don't think. You were in there, so. It was Era, Zira, Harrison, and Gordon, I think. So you don't know that. So yeah. Alright, you can send her off. You can see through her eyes. She'll fly invisibly up onto the main deck. And she will attempt to work her way in. Try to find a way to get in is the first step. And she goes around the whole ship and she tells you she thinks at the top level. So right up here where there is a walkway that goes down, that's where she enters. And you see it comes down into the next level. And up here there's steps going up to what looks like some kind of energy catapult. And when she comes down to the next level, where the staircase is, she comes down right here. And then she goes this way. You don't see anybody. You see a couple weapons racks right there. You see a hallway and a door. She comes to another door here and goes into it. And right there is the helm. You see it.
And tell her that's the helm.
She goes over next to it and looks around. You don't see any people in here, by the way. And it's shut down. There's no energy or magic anywhere. She finds the number. It's 1129. Yeah.
I say it out loud.
And that one that she looks at was the closest one. It's this one right here. Okay?
I'll tell everybody.
Right on. So we got what we need. Let's just go into Port Authority and head to the ship. Volk, you got lead. He nods.
And tell Brazil to come back.
Okay. You can see through her eyes, she begins to make her way back. She goes over here. You can see that there's a door over here, and a door right here, a door here, a door here. She goes back to the one she came out of before. She just pushes it open and goes through it. It had a handle on it that she had to open up, but she did it. That came off of it and then down like this. Just push up or down. And she comes back and goes right to the stairs. She stops and she tells you there's stairs going down, and she looks down there and she tells you there's just a carpet and a door like that. You can see it through her eyes. And then she comes back out and flies back to you. All right, you guys make your way up to the Port Authority building, and you see light coming from inside and outside. It's lit up right here. And it looks like the door has a handle on it that you just push when you go in with it. And he opens it, Volk opens it and goes in first. You guys are all dressed as troops that work for Bahamut, or for the raiding wing. As soon as you come in, immediately to your right, there are cages or prison cells. There's 4 of them. Immediately to your left, there's one guard dressed just like you guys are. And you can see some weapon racks in here, and then another office to your left. There's a door that goes to, it looks like another office, and it has some windows in it that you can see through into that office. Nobody's in there, it's empty. And yeah, the cages are empty as well. Volk walks right up to the desk, and the guy, he's kind of got his feet up when he comes in, and then he takes them down, kind of looks at you guys, he's like, "Hey, fellas." And Volk says, "Good evening." "Done for the night? Or going back out?" And Volk goes, "Well, we're done for the night. We're gonna head back to HQ. 1129. He's like, "Okay, fellas, well, be safe out there. There's some strange things going on." He kind of looks at me and goes, "Thank you." And just turns and walks out.
Follow along.
Bird's like, "Damn it, you should have asked him what strange things."
You should have.
He says that to Lily and Nera's. You guys come out on this dock, and it slowly raises up. It's like a ramp dock, and slowly raises up, but only 2 people at a time can walk next to each other going up it. So really just 1, 2 would be crowded. And so you just go single file up this all the way to the top. And then it looks like you can either turn here and head that way, or go all the way around that way. Volk just kind of turns immediately, heads this way. You just following?
Yeah.
All right, he takes you right to it and goes right to the back of the ship, where you see stairs set up that lead into the ship, and the back of the ship is open up. And you don't see anybody. You walk in, and this is what it looks like when you walk inside of it. You see a long hallway that goes forever. You don't even see the end. You see a door way, way down, over 100 feet. Just a long ass hallway. And then to your right and left, you see these crates, and they're full of what look like nails and glass and ruined metal parts and clumps of wood that have what look like tar poured on them and things like that, just sitting in these boxes. Looks like this is a jettison. As you look down on the ground, you can see that this, since it opens up, you probably slide these out in space behind you.
Yeah.
Or scatter them, or whatever it is, you're not sure. Immediately to your right, there's a door. And it says Brig above it, right here. Immediately to your left's a door, but it's not labeled. And then there's the hallway. What do you guys do? You are right there.
Let everybody get in the ship.
You do notice, we'll roll an observation.
Everybody? That has it?
Yeah, that's in this back here.
Yeah. Right in there is makeup. Nice.
If you make it, you'll notice there's a lever on the wall that probably closes the back.
Should we close that?
Vay goes over and grabs it, pushes it up, and it closes. As soon as it closes, a light goes off in the center of the room, boom, and lights up this area because it darkens when it closes.
Ah.
Lights up in here. That's where you guys are right there.
Okay. So Lily's running the home, right?
I'm gonna ask Bolt to show me where the home is.
He starts walking this way.
Follow him.
Okay.
What stations should we each? Where should we each be? Because we have to make it.
Volk will say, I will show you the locations. It will be simple. It is all this direction. You guys get to about right here, and this door opens. And you see a guard step out, someone of the Radiant Wing, just steps out and kind of looks at you guys, and Volk goes, carry on. And he looks at Volk and just salutes and closes the door behind you. Goes back in there, whatever that room is. Actually, above it, you see it says Brig. And then Volk just kind of turns and looks at you guys and keeps walking, but he looks at you like, what do you want to do?
Keep walking.
Gordon stops.
Ray will walk with Valley over to Lily. He goes, if Gordon stops, Eris would stop with him. And be like,
Everybody kind of goes around you and Gordon,
yeah. Eris would love to see Gordon.
unless Lily stops. You stop?
Lily, she's up front.
She's up front, that's right. So yeah, you're going up that way. Lily, you guys go to this door right here is where Volk takes you, and he opens this door. And you come into a room where you can see out these windows outside. You can see the ocean, Tranquility Bay, a couple of weapons racks, and a staircase that goes up to the next level.
Okay.
And he goes up. You following?
Yep.
You recognize where you're at when you come up these stairs right here. You recognize this is where Razia was.
Okay.
And the ship's lit up. It has lights that are running actually when you come in, and when you walk into a certain room that's in certain locations where you see it. So you go this way. Volk takes you that way actually. And you get into here, and you're in the helm room. You see the helm. It's a major helm sitting right there by the desk.
Go sit down.
Okay. Meanwhile, as they were walking there, Gordon kind of looks at the door and then looks at you, and Telepathy's to you. He says we should probably take him out, knock him out, something.
If you telepathy's out, telepathy somebody. So that's a brig. If he's in there, that probably means there's prisoners in there, right?
He turns and starts walking. He goes, let's go. I think you're right. Let's just leave it as it is. Okay. You don't know if there's anybody else on this ship yet, but okay, Lily, you're sitting there. You touch the helm. Powerful. You're like, wow, this is fucking amazing. This ship is amazing as you start to cast over and look at the armaments and all the rooms. You look into the rooms, you can see in them. The only two people that you see on the vessel besides you guys is a gnome female that's in one of the cages asleep. It looks like all of her stuff and equipment is thrown over in a corner. And the guy that you saw open the door, who's sitting behind the desk, he puts his feet back up and he opens up the scroll and starts looking at it. And you go through the rest of the ship, and that's all you see. And you realize you can lift her up. You can.
I'll telepathy to Gordon and tell him that
Right on.
there's
Head.
a guard and a gnome in the brig.
Okay. Tells Eris. Everybody's in here in the helm room with you. They go over to the doors and like stand guard at the doors and everything. You know there's nobody behind the doors. You can see, you know what I mean? They're like listening at doors and stuff. And
I'll tell him I can see everything that's happening on the ship.
it's over 200 feet long. This is a massive ship. You look, you see it's stored with all kinds of stuff. Weapon type stuff, food, water, anything that probably an 8-month mission would require is on board.
Okay.
It even has a cantina or a bar. Several individual bedrooms on this level behind you, right here and right here. Some kind of conference room right here. And then a bathroom here. And you see it has the seashells, and you see that it's probably heaven made. Another storage room over here. Then the deck below you that you can see out this glass down to, that has a trap door down there. Then you go down, and that's where the armaments are right there. It says the one on the top. And then you see a bunch of beds. You see, you know, like this is crew quarters. This is a bar. And storage. The prison area, the brig area.
Okay.
So you move the ship up?
No, I will ask Bulk if he wants to get everyone else in place first.
Okay. Yeah, he starts taking people where they need to go. So he goes over here to this door and opens it. He says, 4 people need to arm these down here, up front. And then we need a bosun, and I'll be the bosun, he says, and he goes through that door. So, Velia and Ray,
Okay.
and Vey,
Mm-hmm.
and when you crash, you're gonna have to be within 30 feet, and you know, right about there would be, but everybody would need to be on the bridge or right here.
So after we go through the portal,
And-
we could all gather and
Sometimes they man the guy up at the crow's nest or at the top where the main weapon is, and sometimes they don't. Volk tells you, he says we don't have to if we don't want to. Especially since we're going back to headquarters, they might think, you know, not worried about anything. So mainly 4 and then a bosun, so 5. So we got Velia, Ray, Vey, him, and one other person.
Nin.
Huh?
Nin.
No. Oh yeah, Nin could do it. She'll go do it. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then, so you guys go up there up front. All right, he tells you that it's manned. Gordon says, I'm going to go ahead and go up to the top anyway, because it's a good vantage point.
Okay. Eris would ask, well, where should I go?
Keep an eye on that guy in the brig, Gordon says.
Okay.
Wherever you want to on the bridge, so that, I mean, I'll run back before you, I'll come back to you guys before you invoke that
Yeah, she'll go to bridge with Lily.
wizard lock thing.
Yeah, she'll go to bridge with Lily as long as Walt doesn't tell her any different.
He wouldn't. All right. So Zira's not with you,
Yeah.
and you don't have charts. personally. But you look around and you're able to find charts on the ship, and it shows where everything's at, just like hers do.
Okay. I'll gather them
I
all
meant
up.
to fucking show her
Okay.
where it was before she left. I
Oh, when we
meant-
crash, she's gonna take them with her. For sure.
Collect
She
them.
meant to
Oh,
show
yeah.
her where they were on the charts, and I forgot.
Anything in here that would be of value in that way, she would be looking for right now while.
This weird compass thing sitting over off to the side. That's basically a globe floating inside some kind of liquid, and then it has a bunch of points going in different directions. It doesn't sit down flat on anything. It like can roll, but it's got sharp points everywhere where it rolls. Really weird looking. Carpet's really nice. You see two spyglasses or telescopes that are on the two tables to the left and to the right of where you're at, and also one on the table that you're at.
Nice. I have one of those in my bag.
These are different.
Are they?
Yeah, they're not from
I'll pick it up.
the prime material plane. When you look at them, they look made different. They got gold inlay and silver.
I'll pick the one up
Okay.
next to me and look
There
through
is-
it.
They're pretty light. When you pick them up, they're really light. What do you do?
I'll look through it.
Through the window in front of you.
Yeah.
So you hold it up to the window in front of you and you look through it, and it's real close. You can see the tip of the ship and just out a little bit, which goes towards the beach because you're faced towards the beach and the Port Authority and everything like that. You look at it, it's just close. It looks like a normal spyglass. It gets really close.
Okay.
When you look through deep, what else do? You examine it.
Yeah.
Looks like it's got spots that it can turn, like there's gears or some kind of turning things. You're not sure what they are, focusers or something. So there's three of them. One here, and one there. Which one do you do? There's one at the end, one up close, and one in the middle.
In the middle.
Okay. You push the middle one, and it looks the same.
Okay.
It's Lily, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks the same. Doesn't change it.
That's weird. We don't have time.
Do you click it back or?
Yeah.
Okay. Still the same. Same distance and everything. You can mess with them later or whatever you want,
I
maybe.
don't have time
Okay.
to fuck with it right now. She'll grab the other one that Eris didn't get to.
Yeah, Aries picked one up. I went through
There's
it.
3.
Yeah.
You're gonna grab 2?
Yeah. And then she grabbed one. There's nobody else in here, right?
Oh yeah, everybody else is in there. That's what I'm saying. Somebody
Oh.
might have wanted
Grabbed
to
it.
grab the other one. Myra. She
Yeah.
picks it up. So do. She starts looking through it. Messing with it as you're
Yeah.
doing what you're doing. So yeah, everybody's in place. Do you lift the ship up and take off? You're looking at the charts. You know the general area is basically southeast of the island is where, I'm sorry, northwest of the island is where the beacon is that goes to the headquarters. It's labeled on the map. And so give me an intelligence check. You're actually, they're in front of you. You're controlling the ship too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. You can read the charts to know the general direction to take off from here. You can either go way up. I mean, what do? You can go around the island. You can go over the island. You can go way up around the island, way up over the island. How do you do it? It'll be to the, or not over the island, away from the island, because it's to your northwest, or northwest. Let me pop up a, so this is important. This is a graphic that will probably explain a lot to you guys that you didn't know. Maybe you did, but let me toss this up real quick. So the heavenly space, I tried to describe it to you guys the other day. Here's heavenly space. If you look at this blue form of water that comes here, comes around there,
Mm-hmm.
in the pie shape, that's the plane itself. First plane, heaven. Lunia is an island on that plane, right here. Zoom down on it.
Okay.
Above it is a heavenly spire that goes way up. From the first plane of heaven, Lunia, up to the second plane, Mercuria, is 3,000 miles. So there's distance between them. And that is a shaft or spire that goes way up. All around it and all above this and everywhere that you look is what they call silver space, or Lunia space, silver space. Lunia space is down here. So all these little things here are beacons or portals that are located all throughout the space of heaven.
Okay.
Yours that you need to go to is right here. So it's not that far away. So you come up off the island here and start heading in that direction. And it is up, but not, it's up about 1,000 miles or so.
Okay.
So how do you go up? You go up just normal, or what do you do?
Was there anything in that procedure book that I read about how this is handled?
You're regulated on most ports and areas and things like that, which means that when you pull out, you'll feel a resistance of where you're supposed to go and where you're not supposed to go. As you pull out, you don't feel any resistance. Like, it's weird. It's not, there's none. Almost like you could do what you want coming out of here. Maybe it's a military thing. You saw no commercial vessels at all. So,
Okay. She'll come up above everything.
so there's the star chart for you, basically. That's where you gotta go, is right there
Okay.
from there.
So she'll just bring it out over the water then and head northwest in that direction.
Okay. Oh, how high over the water? Do you continue to rise, or do you just go straight over the water?
Continue to rise up
Okay.
a little bit until
All right.
it feels safe.
All right, you're rising up. You realize you're at impulse speed, the slow speed, combat speed. As you rise up and you start to go higher, you realize you can go faster if you want. You can still see through all the whole ship. You see the gnome talking to the other guy. She wakes up and says something to him, and he doesn't respond to her. You can actually zoom in there and try and hear if you want through the helm if you want.
We'll go a little bit faster first.
Okay.
Take off.
So do you go as fast as you can, top speed, or is
No, I'm
No.
gonna test it out first.
Okay. So we'll say so movement will be in the form of hexes. So you came out of there and moved out of hex. That's where you're at now. You've moved about a hex. So do you want to do 2 hexes in the same amount of time? 3 hexes? What do you want to do?
3.
3? What's your intelligence?
18.
So you realize the capability of this vessel is right there. You realize you could not go more than 3 hexes in one round. You realize you could do that again if you want next round, so then you'd be going 6 hexes. That drop-off point, that stop-off point, will take you 4 rounds to reach, where it goes to 10 hexes
Okay.
with your level. What level are you?
Together?
No,
Or
your mage.
wizard? Mage, 17.
So yeah, you might be at 8 hexes, 17 hexes. Wasn't that what it was? 17? Or no, I'm sorry, 7 hexes. 7 hexes, I think. But anyway, it doesn't matter right now if it's not. I'll look it up if we get there for sure. But you're moving pretty. You can move pretty fast. I just want to know how fast you're moving.
Yeah.
Go 3 hexes and stay there.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you looking when you move? Like, you need to tell me where you keep your sight at all times. If your sight changes, even off of to talk to somebody or whatever, you need to tell me.
Right.
Otherwise, I will assume your sight's in the last location that you told me, unless you do something so straightforward.
Yeah.
So you realize you can see about 60 feet in front of the vessel perfectly. And what I mean is you can feel it. Like you can take your vision to that location as if you were standing right there looking at something. So you could see past that location of 60 feet past the vessel, the tip of the vessel, your vision, whatever that is, which is doubled here in heaven. So
180 feet.
you can see 180 feet in front of the ship and you don't see anything, and you're moving at a pretty good click. 3 hexes is hauling balls. We're gonna say you're moving at about 300 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, that's plenty fast.
Doesn't appear that way. There's no wind, there's no,
Right.
but you're hauling balls.
Okay.
Okay. And you head towards the beacon.
I do.
All right.
And I'll telepathy Gordon that the gnome is awake and they're talking. I really need to stay focused though. I can't
Okay.
be dicking around too much.
You didn't look there. You just said that to Gordon, right?
Yeah,
Okay. You still have your focus in front of you.
I do.
Off quite a ways in the distance, you can see some sort of glow. It's like you're getting closer to it. Looks like the direction that you're headed might be in the right direction. You're not sure. As you get closer, you see that that's a beacon. You can see it. There's a tower and a platform and that gate.
As Aries, can I look around for those flags that we need?
So yeah, you see him sitting over there by Volk. He said he would do it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
missed that.
Cool. That way you don't have to know it.
Yeah.
How to do it. You're not sure how to do it.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
Forget it. If he said he'd do it, then.
And do you go towards it? You realize
According to the star charts, it's not the one we're looking for.
No.
We're looking for the next one. So
Right.
yeah, no, she doesn't want to like run
just
into
keep
it
your
or
course
anything.
and go past it.
Yeah.
You see it as you go by. On top of the tower, you see a man of war, like the one you're flying right now, sitting there on top of the tower. You continue to go.
Yep.
Eventually, you will come to another dot that you assume or believe to be the one that you're looking for. You get closer to it, and you see the beacon, and you see there's a ship also sitting on top of this tower as well. And here's the gate. You believe this is it.
I'll start slowing down.
Okay. And as you get closer and closer, you start to feel some sort of gravity or some sort of resistance that the regulator is letting you know where to go to get into line to move up towards the portal.
Okay. I'll do that.
As you do so, Volk looks up at you and he'll kind of like do that. He's like,
Slow down.
and then he'll say,
Stop.
okay, and you stop. And you look over at the tower, you don't see anybody. Like no movement. You just see the ship, you see the tower, and then the portal, that's it. And no people. And Volk kind of goes to the edge of the ship with the flags and kind of looks over towards the tower. And then you see him start holding them up and doing a certain thing with them. You're not sure what he's doing. And he does it 3 times in a row, the same thing, and then puts them down and walks back onto the deck.
I try and memorize what he did.
Okay, all right. He did. He went. You want to do your intelligence or wisdom to remember what he did. Intelligence to perceive it, wisdom to remember it.
So intelligence first.
Yeah.
1 under 18.
Yeah.
She critted.
You critted.
Yay.
Critted on seeing
And
it.
then wisdom 5 under 12.
You make it. You can remember it.
Nice.
You assume it's the number of the ship, you know, because you already know it. Anyway, he goes back and then he looks at you and he does that like that. You see the portal kind of glow for a second. And then you see the energy suck into the portal and it turns this blue-like color all the way around it with a middle that's kind of lightning looking. And he tells you to move forward.
Do it.
As you do, it's almost like this portal sucks you in. You can feel it grab a hold of the vessel. You're like, oh, shit. And it feels like you're going to go really, really fast. And then you're back to the normal, moving slowly like you were when you went in it.
Oh, it just grabs you that quick.
And you, yeah, it's like it takes no time
like
at
you
all.
can't perceive it. 'Cause
And-
it grabs you so fast.
When you come out, you're like leaving it. You feel the ship leaving it when you come out, but there is no in between. Like no big wormhole there. None of that
Right.
shit. It's just real quick, boom, boom,
Okay.
and you see a city as far as the eye can see. In every direction, you see structures made of gold and silver and brass and platinum. You see dragons of all different colors all over the place that are metallic, silver, copper, brass. You are definitely in the enemy's territory. It's overwhelming. You assume this is what Mirabilia looked like above it and what other areas of the Prime were starting to look like before that White Tower Mage came. And Volk looks at you and kind of points in the direction to go. He's like,
Do it.
you start to go across this city. He points again that way. He does this and points that way.
Look over there.
You look over, you see just a city. You know, it's like tons of buildings and stuff like that. You see him walk up and come up to the bridge. He starts talking to you and shows you where the headquarters, the Radiant Wing headquarters is. He says, that's where we should be going,
Okay.
but we're not, just so you know. He shows you guys how to use the spy glasses, tells you the middle one is infravision.
That's why it doesn't.
Humans can have infravision, that's why it didn't work for you. Yeah.
That would be the one.
If you rotate the back one, then it becomes longer and can see farther. And the front one is what focuses it in. And the front and the middle one also have a spot that can be moved back and forth to go distance even more. So he shows you how to use all those.
Nice.
Real
And then
quick.
what about the compass ball thing?
He looks over at that and he tells you that's a navigator's tool for deep space. Because I don't know how to use that.
Okay.
I've seen them, but I don't know how to use it. And you're going over the city, and you can kind of tell as you're doing it, as you're flying over some of these buildings, you can see people down on the ground. You can see soldiers in different areas and normal people moving about, milling about, what look like humans to you, and some angelic looking beings. And some of them look up at like, what the hell, you know, as you go over like,
Ares will pick up the deep space compass.
Okay. all right. I think there's two.
Nice. She'll pick one.
There's two. I'd have to look at the.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd wrap it in some cloth and put it in my bag.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you said it had a bunch of spikes all over
It
it,
does.
huh? Oh.
It does. but it's like spikes to make it not roll. Like it'll hold on a table and not roll. Whoop, like that.
It's not sharp spikes, so they're gonna like break my bag if I put it in there.
No,
Okay, cool.
I mean they could if you like, they could rip it. Yeah, they're not dull, but they're not sharp.
Gotcha.
So you put it in there.
No.
No. Like you're talking bag of holding doesn't work right now, so that's not. You're just talking about a normal bag.
Yeah, it was, but it's cool.
So does anybody pick one up?
Yeah, I will wrap one in black cloth.
Okay. Put it.
Actually, I'll ask Myra to do it. I've got my hand on the
Oh,
wheel
you
and I
do?
can't
You
do
do?
anything. I'll ask Myra to wrap
And she's
it.
like, okay, I got you. She starts collecting stuff all around the tables and stuff
Yeah.
there.
Do you have any more cloth, Myra?
Yeah.
Will you wrap this one for me?
Okay. She pulls it out.
I don't have any.
You're laughing because as you're driving, there are bedrooms, there's tapestries, there's clothing, there's bed sheets, there's all kinds of shit in this ship.
She said, right? She's like, there's a whole ship full of stuff, you guys.
I didn't say that. Like that's just an overview. You
Right.
really don't know what they're made of or anything like that unless you zoom down and look.
Yeah.
Like you knew there were weapons racks, but you don't know what kind of weapons were there unless you zoomed down and look.
Yeah.
Which you could, but anyway. So you're where the portal comes out. It puts you at about 100 to 200 feet, somewhere around 150 feet in the air above the city as you're going. You can see that this place has stars too. And it doesn't look like there's a cylinder. It just looks normal, like you were on a planet or something.
So is this stuff like over our normal armor, or is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sweet.
As you start getting closer, you start seeing these towers that are really tall. And he tells you to take a right turn. And he stays up with you. He's like, take a right turn.
I will.
So I'm going to pull up this graphic real quick to show you what it looks like. The Imperial Citadel Center is right here. And there's going to be the Platinum Palace in the center. But all around are normal buildings, and that does that for miles. So you guys, it takes you a while to get to that location. He's telling you to basically enter the area from the southeast. Or the south, actually, sorry, the south, not the southeast. This tower down here and this tower, these towers at all the corners are the really tall towers. Over here, there's a couple of tall towers too. He tells you that we're going to want to go right here. And we're going to go right through these doors is where you want to crash. And he's pointing, showing you. And right now, you're going impulse, you're going combat speed. Just one at a
Right.
time.
So should I haul ass?
He's like, I don't know. What can you do? How fast do you
Go fast. Like, do at least 300 miles an hour.
We don't want to go that fast.
Right.
Maybe slow. Slow would be the key. I think slow enough that the mass of the ship will break the doors down. Which reminds me, what are we going to do? We're going to go out these stairs, probably, and then we'll have to get down off the ship.
Eris will get her mandolin out and get ready
Okay.
to play that chord. Everybody should probably start to gather, right?
You say impulse speed's what he tells you. He says as slow as you can go and still fly the thing, because it's going to be difficult. And as you get closer, you start to try to line the shit up. ship up, and you realize when you lower it, when you start to lower it down to go down, that it goes down pretty quickly, like, and then you have, and it kind of comes back up. It's going to be one of these things where you're going straight at it, and then you're going to have to just go down and then boom, hit it. It's not going to be where you can go from a straight line where you're at and through all the buildings and everything. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to kind of come down into it. And when you do, you're going to want to go kind of swoop like that so that you don't hit head first. You're going to want to go into the building. Okay.
You guys would remind her what Harrison said about the wings. To put them back
So
to it.
you think about that and you realize you don't have any way to do that. You start to look at the wings. Do you look them over as you're flying?
Yeah.
You can still keep it steady. As you start to look them over, you see that they have mechanisms, and you know the locations where it has cranks or levers that you turn, and it will bring them back in. You know that there's an area that locks it, so like it goes click, click, click as you're looking at it. There's also a handle you can pull up to where it doesn't go click, click, click. You just let go of it, and it would go zzz really quickly. And you can try to stop it by pulling that lever back down. Do you understand?
Kind of, yeah.
So basically there's a lever that if you pull it down, it will, well, first you have to grab a thing that you turn and take the tension off. Then you can pull a lever down and it'll click one at a time. Or you can pull another lever down with that lever and let go of it, and it'll go really quick and bring the wing in, which is the way you're probably going to have to do it. And it's probably not set, probably not supposed to do that necessarily. You don't know. I mean, it's basically going to take your maneuverability class at the end of it and fucking rock it. Like, it's going to be real. It's like flying a rock. You're like, this is not going to be easy, because suddenly all your control is going to leave.
Yeah, so I'll tell her as all that.
Okay.
It has to be done manually. Somebody,
And on each side at the same time.
2 people. So they won't be up here with us. And it will make it impossible for me to control any of it once that's gone.
Oh.
That's going to be difficult. I don't know how we're going to do that and there's no way to do that and get back.
There's not.
But he's like, we could blow the wings up from where we're at in here on the deck.
Wow.
I don't know. Don't you mages have things you can use? Meanwhile, you're clicking in and you're getting closer.
And tell them, I'm like, I don't think we have time to mess with it, you guys. I think everybody needs to get set.
You guys ready? Everybody in here?
We're here.
So, Lily,
Yeah.
as you get closer, even moving at this speed, you realize this is going to be interesting.
It's
Yeah.
going to be hard to stop it.
Like it might go through the whole building. Like it kind of feels like you might just rip the building in half. I mean, this is a huge vessel. You're not sure though, but
Yeah. I'll tell
and
everybody
also as you're looking at it, you realize you're gonna have to thread the needle and go right through the front gates or the front door, which is at the walls there. If you go left or right at all, then you're gonna end up in the courtyard, not
Okay.
in the building.
Okay. And try to communicate this to everybody.
Okay. Gordon's like, you got it. You got it, Lily.
We might just rip the building in half.
Can you fly this thing? I wonder if we slowed down and came to a stop and tried to pull the wings in, if you could still fly it. Should be able to, right?
Without the wings, I don't have much control.
But you do have some, right?
Barely.
I'm afraid those wings are gonna mess this up. I think Harrison's right.
So should we get out there and
We're going across their city that might, if we stop right now, there might be complications.
they're gonna
Is it worth it?
they're
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
on top of us.
Well, we're going straight in to crash. They can't, it's not like they can.
Well, if we stop.
Brad, go to the other wing. And Lily, when you're ready, come to a stop. We'll let them go and let them come in, and then you can try. If that doesn't work, we'll put them back out, but not take much time doing it.
Okay.
So, Gordon go his way, Brad goes his way. You start to slow down, come to a stop when he tells you.
When he tells me.
And as you're looking, you can see like people looking up, and it's starting to like gathers a crowd gathers of visual onlookers pretty quickly. And then Gordon starts moving his crank and everything, and so does Braid, and the wings start coming in, and then you see people kind of ignore it once the wings start coming in, like, oh, they're having some kind of issue, and they go on about their business. Most of them don't continue to look. Some of them do. You get the wings put in, and Gordon says, okay, see what you can do. What kind of control?
Start with impulse.
Okay, going forward.
Yeah.
No problem. It seems it's a little sluggish, you know what I mean, but and you're only 150 feet above the ground. Keep that in mind. So you start going.
Towards the front gate. Right
Okay.
there.
You try to turn to see if you try to check it out, or are you just gonna wait and see?
Yeah, well, a little bit.
Try to go up a little bit or something. So
Yeah.
you pull it up, and it doesn't go up. You pull it up, and it just stays there, and you think it, and then it slowly starts to go up, and you realize you got to pull it back down.
Yeah.
And you do that, but you're much higher than you were because it takes forever to pull it back down. And now you're up at about 200 feet above. So you
Start
realize
moving
it
then.
moves about 50 feet each time you do that.
Yeah.
And it's like this. It's not like you just boom.
Yeah.
It's like this, it goes.
Okay.
It's doable, you think, but
Okay.
difficult.
Okay.
Take
I'll
all your
tell 'em.
concentration.
I'll tell him that I can't focus on anything else. And I can barely move it.
Eris would say, everybody get up here so that I can lock us to the floor.
Everybody comes up.
She'll lock everybody. She won't. Would you lock her mandolin?
Right now.
Oh, should I wait?
Wait till Lily's ready.
Okay.
And is it going to lock her to the helm?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it will.
Oh, yes.
For sure. Everything that's in this area of effect, it'll lock all of it.
Okay.
But then again, is she close enough to the window? The window's for it to be in it?
Uh-huh.
Is she close enough, like, if she were to stand, could it keep the front where we're at from crashing in on us with that wizard lock? It would keep it in place. Everything that sphere was touching. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so she'll do that too.
Okay.
So we'll have some kind of
Barrier.
barrier.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah.
I hope that works how I think it works.
You're flying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's probably gonna get thrown. I'm quite aware.
No, you're not touching anything,
I'm
right?
not.
You're just flying?
No, she's
Okay.
flying.
So, as you get closer, you attempt to maneuver the man of war into place. I'm going to need a dexterity check, Lily, and it's going to be at a -2.
So -2 is a 15.
You start closing in on the building. You get closer and closer, and you come to the moment. As you guys are looking out, you realize this is going to be a crash.
Yeah.
Three?
Nice. Hoorah.
Lily threads the needle.
She does. She did it. Did it.
You wizard lock.
Yeah. Yes. 30-foot radius.
The initial crash is like you hit nothing but the ground. You feel the ground hit, and the ship holds up pretty well. The doors in front of it, the ram, the piercing ram, it's in front of it just annihilates the doors. These are massive doors, inlaid with gold. They go flying away. You see stone and tiled gold from the street, the ground, erupt in pieces in different directions. Earth comes up underneath it. As your rear end kind of goes up in the air a little bit like this, and it goes into this hallway. You can see in the hallway as it busts through the doors. And as it comes in and finally rests, you can see into a room, and the room is the outside is completely blocked off except the front of your ship that's stuck inside of it, and some kind of platinum and gold encrusted chamber with pillars all around it, and a big golden and platinum archway here and there in different locations, as you can see through the glass. And the dust settles and the ship kind of comes to a rest. You realize as you're still holding onto the helmet, you can still move the ship. It's not grounded. Like, it can go up and down, left and right, forward. You can move it.
It can move it forward more.
Yeah, if you wanted to, you can move it forward more. But unfortunately, welcome to the Platinum Palace. That's where we're going to end this evening.
Look at, I knew it.
You are in the palace in the second heaven, Mercuria. Who knows? You guys might battle Bahamut next game. That'd be interesting. We'll see what happens. You got the ship still. It's still in your control. We'll start there.
Okay.
Inside of the Platinum Palace. Thank you guys for coming. Once again, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Thanks for coming out.
Peace.
There's a gift inside the old gods granted me, a vision of the way to change reality. In the shadows creeping, can't rest your weary head. No time for you to sleep now, or evil it will spread. So gather all your friends and listen to my tale. Adventure story shaping magic and the veil. Dragons, devils, demons, and creatures that I fear, and heroes of the north. Just please don't be scared. The heroes are the monsters to the enemy. It all depends upon the way that you proceed. OriginalGM, we're here to set you free. Come join in the adventure. Who you wanna be? Who you wanna be? We are heroes.